Sky God. Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of the Discmania Simon Lizotte Signature Series C-Line P2. The Sky God. Man, discs have really long names these days. The Sky God is a premium plastic version of the P2. It is a signature disc that Simon Lizotte has had for a number of years now. This is the first version that was made in the new manufacturing facility in Sweden, I assume under the watchful eyes of our friends at Latitude 64, and these are really nice. First P2 I've actually ever had in the inventory. I tried to review like a P-line or D-line P2 years ago, and in the times before the split between Innova and Discmania, the P2 was extremely hard to come by for a long time there, so I was never able to really get my hands on any to test and review. So I'm happy to finally add the P2 to the playlist, even though it's just this Sky God and not a D-line or P-line or anything like that. If you really want to see those represented in the playlist, let me know. I'll do my best to try to hook up a couple of those to test. But I thought it was only fitting, since Simon just won another Pro Tour event out at Maple Hill, to finally go ahead and get my Sky God review added to the playlist, as well as finally have the P2 represented in the playlist. So this one is in this beautiful C-line plastic, very much akin to the crystal plastic. It feels a lot like the crystal roach that we tested and reviewed a couple of years back. And this disc definitely reminds me of that quite a bit, just a little bit more stable. We're going to talk about it. We're going to take a look at it next to other premium plastic throwing putters. We're going to throw it, all that stuff and more, so stay tuned. But before we get into it, quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, the Disc Golf Depot. They are my local shop here in Portland, Oregon. They're a place that I've shopped for over a decade now, and I'm happy to continue to work with them. They're also under new management, as the younger generation of the Miller family has now taken over the mantle of the Disc Golf Depot. They'll be moving into a new shop relatively soon, sometime here in October 2022. So they're trying to take it to the next level, and I'm happy to support that in any way that I can and be involved with them as they continue to be a fixture in the Portland disc golf community. So, thank you very much to the Disc Golf Depot for their support and hooking me up with this beautiful Sky God to test and review. I hope to go in there and get some more sweet plastic relatively soon. Link in the description or discgolfdepot.com. Check them out. Here is a look at the stamp of the Sky God. I'm not sure how I feel about this artwork. I mean, I guess it's fine enough. It's a little weird. I like Simon's logo. Always been solid. Signature Series C-Line P2. And here is a look at the design of this thing. So it's a beadless putter, and it has very smooth contours to it. No sharp edges, no flashing, no kind of hot spots or anything on this disc. It's really, really smooth, clean manufacturing. Again, it reminds me very much of the Crystal Roach that we tested and reviewed. This thing's just more stable, but other than that, it's remarkably similar, just not quite as rounded, perfectly rounded as the Roach is, because the P2 has that little bit more old school shape to it. But yeah, definitely a really nice feeling disc. I like the feel of this plastic. It's got a pretty good grip to it. Nothing like amazing, but definitely solid, and I'm sure it will continue to get better in grip over time and all that kind of stuff. Let's take a look at it next to some other stuff, since there's not really a ton to show you in terms of the design on its own. Let's start comparing it to some other discs. First, we have an Opto Pure, phenomenal disc. 33, -11 are the flight numbers on the Pure. The Sky God numbers are not listed, but it is 2301. I would say gotta be a 2 for fade on this particular run, but whatever. It's all quite subjective, and it's going to change based on the plastics and the runs and all that kind of stuff. There it is next to the Opto Pure. Opto Pure definitely more understable. Probably has more glide, hang time to it up in the air, and yeah, a little bit more workable for lower arm speed players, I would say. Opto Pure is a really phenomenal disc. 3301, the Sensei from the active line from Discmania. This plastic, to me, actually feels a little bit better. I think this plastic's a little bit grippier, but similar in terms of its stiffness. I like this Sensei, though. Nice disc. We'll probably throw together a quick review on this Sensei eventually as well. Good flyer. Flew pretty true to the numbers. Definitely not quite as stable, once again, as the Sky God. Not a huge difference in the way these are designed, I guess. And then last but not least, we have the Clash Discs Butter. And this one has the super rounded Roach Luna type shape to it, but it's a little deeper and a little slower, more floaty on a straight line, and also not quite as stable as the Sky God. The Sky God almost gets into the stability levels of like an overstable approach disc. When you're throwing it backhand, it's quite stable for sure. It can handle a lot of pop. So you're gonna see it holds a hyzer really strong. It does have some glide to it. It'll still fly a little bit. It's not quite as mean or overstable as like a Tactic or something like that in terms of the way it fades and that type of flat top overstable flight patterns to it. But it's definitely stable enough that you could use it in a similar role. Like if you're a Noodle Arm and you wanted to get a Sky God because you're a Simon fan, you just want to have it in the bag, I'm sure you'll be able to find use for it. You'll probably throw it for little chip hyzers, approaches, straight approaches, flex shots, all that kind of stuff. It's not like unthrowable, but it's definitely stable. If you try to like flip it up, like hyzer flip it up, it's just going to hyzer out on you. You see James try to do that. He throws the farthest out of all of us, and he tries to kind of like hyzer flip it up like he's throwing an AVR or something, and the thing just goes pure hyzer all the way and just bombs out to the left. Same thing for me. Before I got used to this disc, you'll see earlier in the video, was one of my earliest throws with it. I expected it to try to pop up and ride a little bit, and it did not at all. It just kind of held the hyzer strong. So you got to put it on anhyzer to get it to ride to the right at all. You got to throw it flat to get it to fly straight without starting to fade a little bit earlier in the flight. Ultimately, I think it's probably best suited for players with more power, looking for a throwing putter. I think Simon probably throws amazing shots with this thing. I have no doubt, and I think it's really well suited to a player like him, which is great for a signature disc to be something that he does actually use and does throw well. And yeah, I think it's probably a little bit more of a pro style disc. The P2 in general has been over the years, but that being said, I think anybody could use this. It's just a matter of how far you're going to be able to throw it and how overstable it's going to behave. That's my review on the Sky God. Happy to finally add a P2 into the inventory. Congratulations to Simon Lizotte and all of his fans for a pretty unbelievable Disc Golf Pro Tour season to add 4 different titles to the resume. Pretty incredible, and I don't think anybody really expected it. I'm still kind of shocked that he won Maple Hill, and the way that all went down was pretty insane. If you haven't seen that yet, I don't care about the spoilers. I'm posting this a full week later, so it's on you at this point. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you for your continued support. Shout out to the Disc Golf Nerd Patreon support team as well. I appreciate you all very much for stopping by to check out the video. I will talk to you all very soon. Cheers. Sky God. I ain't Simon.